There is no end to my pain. The reason why I'm reviewing this figure is beyond stupid. The fact is, I know nothing about the original ThunderCats cartoon. The fact that I've actually got this figure at hand to review for you today makes absolutely no sense. But I guess I'm just desperate to want to review some brand new ThunderCats merchandise, no matter what it is. Thanks to the cancellation of the 2012 cartoon and the toy line produced by Bandai America, this is just a gap that I'm trying to fill in, and you're just going to have to fill me with this one. You understand what I'm saying here? So you know what? Don't hate the video because I have no knowledge about the original ThunderCats cartoon. And just let me give it my all here if I can. So anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to this, because it looks like this is just another thing that's getting ready to die anyway, because Mad Collector's getting ready to shut down starting, I think, January of 2017. So all their licenses have been moved over to Super 7, and they have announced that they will be continuing the Masters of the Universe Classics, but not the brand new just released ThunderCats Classics. There's been no word on those yet. And still to this day, it just makes me wonder, why is there no love for ThunderCats? So you know what? Screw history, putting that aside, I'm going to show my love for ThunderCats in any way possible that I can. So here we go. This is the 6-inch Lion-O action figure from Matty Collectors, ThunderCats Classic series. But before we take a look at Lion-O, let's put the figure away for a moment so we can take a direct look at the packaging, which looks very collectible, which it even mentions right here, adult collection, so I'm just plain stupid here. So anyway, as you can see, as partake of every single video review when I can, it is a nice packaging, and it totally does hit the mark for adult collector. You got a nice picture of the ThunderCats logo making up the background in a nice red. I love that. You got a picture of Lion-O here, pretty much getting sight beyond sight from the Sword of Omens, which you can see the sword continues into the sculpting of the bubble art here. Very nice. Very nice. I did not expect that. That is very cool. So, anyway, on the side here, you got a nice picture of Lion-O that I'm trying to get on the camera here so you can see it all. On this side here, we got the ThunderCats logo, and we got Lion-O's name right there. And on the back of the packaging, we got a nice picture of Lion-O with the cat's lair in the background, which looks phenomenal. If this is a painting, it's some nice work. I really do like it. And here's a brief bio for Lion-O, and I'll give you a moment to take a good glimpse at that. And that's going to do that. So pulling the packaging away and bringing back in Lion-O, and pretty much keeping the camera at this level here. Wow, I don't have to adjust it. This is a really good figure. The sculpting on it's really nice. 4 horsemen know how to get the job done right. Having said that though, the paint job on this figure is sloppy. I'm sorry to say it, it is. The first figure out of this Classics line, and it's a sloppy paint job. What can I say? Oh boy. Well, anyway, minus some sloppiness to the figure, like the fact that his belt here is kind of sloppy, his eyes are kind of sloppy, his eyebrows are kind of sloppy, he's got a marking here on his chin, so there's that. His, the panel line here on his boots are sloppy, in some areas they're not even painted. It's still a cool figure, so, you know, give or take for what it is, I do have to be honest. I mean, I am impressed with this figure. The sloppiness is kind of a nitpick. It's not really that bad. And the sculpting of the hair is actually really good. Whipping in the wind, or like he's running. And it does have some shadowing as well, so that's nice. So that's very good. The belt, it's nice. The buckle is very clean work. It's not sloppy, and the cat's logo is definitely made out right there. The texturing on the belt is actually good as well. I did not see that at first, so there's something nice. And basically that's really it. As it goes for most of the Classics line of anything Mad Collector throws out, it is the same use of the same body sculpt over and over and over again, with a few tweaks of retooling here to just fit certain characters, like the head, maybe even the upper torso here. And this piece here is actually vinyl. That is a separate piece, in other words. And the boots are new. But everything else seems to be the same thing that's been handed over from the Masters of the Universe Classics. Maybe a He-Man or a Skeletor, and you get what I mean. Anyway, having said that, let's go ahead and get to the articulation on this figure. It is a ball jointed head like most classic figures from Matty Collector. You do get some rotation, as you can see, and some good up and down movement. Some really good up and down movement. It does have ball jointed shoulders, but this is about as high as they're going to go. Upward, downward, they pretty much go back to normal stance. There is rotation, as you can see, full 360 without hindrance. There's a bicep rotation, single jointed elbows, wrist rotates. There's a hinge joint to allow inward and outward movement, and that goes for both hands, as you can see. There's an ab crunch to allow this much crunching forward, this much crunching back, which is kind of loose on my figure, but hey, your results will be different. There is a nice waist rotation as well. Like I said, this piece here is actually vinyl, so you can actually get the legs to go up about that much without hindrance. They go this much back. There is a split joint, as you can see, so, you know, it's not really hindered by the vinyl piece. So you can get some good splitting with the legs there. There is a thigh cut to allow good rotation. Single jointed knees. And there's a rotation here at the top portion of the boot. And the last bit of articulation is at a hinge joint to allow upward and downward movement for the feet. And then there's a beautiful ankle rocker pivot that unfortunately is not as good as Marvel Legends. So it's right up there with Halo 6-inch figures. So there you got that. That's basically the articulation and the overall appearance of the figure. Now, the next portion of this review is basically his accessories he comes with, which is quite a bit actually. So, as you can see, we got all of this here, and let's go through it very carefully. So, one at a time. We've got this claw gauntlet that he's pretty familiar with, and as you can see, it's got some nice sculpting. There's an eye right there. I'm thinking that's an eye, but the claws are actually painted. I was surprised to see that. These gem pieces here are actually painted nicely, so there's some nice work there. There is some black washing going on here with the fur, which is nice, and as you can see, the handle piece to the Sword of Omens, it's not removable. It is actually one single piece, and if you're not careful, you might actually break it. There's also this little strap piece here with a hole to indicate that, hey, this can actually peg in right here. But it is pretty tight, so I'm only going to do this one time. So as you can see, it holds in there very securely. So that's something that Bandai of America's Legacy line could learn. The holster on Jason wasn't really that tight. But anyway, having said that, that's a different story. So removing that, and he does come with an actual hand gauntlet that you can actually remove his left hand here and pop this in its place so he can actually have it for combat against Mumra or any other evil force out there. So it looks good, and it does allow still the rotation, but you do lose the hinge joint to allow inward and outward movement of the hand, but hey, it is what it is. So removing this real quickly so we can pop this back in, because he does actually come with one more accessory for his left hand, and basically it's another left hand, pretty much opened in the same way, but I guess this one's more secure for holding the Sword of Omens. So there really is no point to it, but whatever, because I have tested this hand with the Sword of Omens, and it holds in there pretty nice. Anyway, speaking of the Sword of Omens, here it is in this little dagger form, with the eye, as you can see. It's okay, it's not much really be said here, but yeah, if you want to, Lionel can hold it just fine in his right hand, as you can see. So, yep, there you go. There's that. But if you want the real action of this, of course, you gotta have the real Sword of Omens in its actual battle form. As you can see, very much extended, and it's also got the nice ThunderCats logo, which is nicely painted. Not sloppy work at all. Very nice. I like the metallic blue that's going on here for the hilt guard. So you can pop this in his hand here, and it doesn't hold too well, unfortunately. But having said that, it will stay in his hands. It's just loose fitting, as you can see, but it's not going to fall out. So anyway, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering if you can get Lionel in that dynamic pose where he's pretty much going thunder, 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 Thundercats, oh, well, oh no, because it doesn't really work. I've tried this way too many times, and I just can't get the arms to work with me in that pose, so unfortunately, it's just something that you're just going to have to accept. There's one pose that you cannot fully get out of this Lion-O figure. Sure, you might not be able to pull off the dynamic pose that everyone knows and loves, but hey, at least he can still get his sight beyond sight, as you can see. Just figured I'd throw that in there for you guys. Someone's going to ask. Having said that, it is not a bad figure, and it's definitely the right approach for this line, but I'm really hoping that this line isn't going to end after just one series of subscriptions. Because I'd like to see more figures out of this line, more characters. I'd like to know a little more about the ThunderCats cartoon and this toy line that I totally missed out on way back when LJN had the mantle. Anyway, to wrap up this video review, let's do some size comparisons with other 6-inch figures that I've got here. So here's Star Wars The Black Series Ahsoka Tano, which looks not bad against Lion-O. It's a pretty good scale. And then let's bring in Springer, because why not? Springer looks good when comparing to a lot of figures. It just makes sense. If you're going to compare figures, you got to bring in Springer. And that's basically going to do it for this video review. So, questions, comments, you know what to do. Leave it down below in the comment section of this video. If you like today's video review, hit the thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, why not hit that subscribe button for more video reviews just like the one you're seeing here today. From the reviewing station, this is the one and only Sonic Ranger signing off. Thanks very much for watching this, and I'll see you whenever you see me.